Hi, I'm Brent Van Dyson. As an elder law attorney, I help people protect their assets from the high cost of nursing home care. If you, your spouse, or your parent is in a nursing home today or is about to go into one, please contact my Charleston office for a consultation. You can reach us at 304-343-3777 or on the web at wvelderlaw.com. The Van Dyson Law Office, protecting assets for seniors.
Welcome to this episode of Legally Speaking. I'm Amy Strobel, and I am delighted to be joined by Brent Van Dyson from the Van Dyson Law Office. And Brent, it's wonderful to have you back.
Well, thank you very much, Amy. I'm pleased to be here.
Great. You specialize in elder law.
Yes, I do.
And this is a growing field right now, and I'd love to just have you explain to our viewers what that entails. What does elder law entail?
Sure. So as an attorney having an elder law practice, my focus is on serving the needs of elderly clients in their years leading up to retirement and post-retirement. Some of the issues that we help people with would be qualifying for governmental benefits like Medicaid if somebody needs to go into a nursing home, protecting assets in case nursing home care is needed, and giving guidance on other things like wills and powers of attorney, asset protection trusts, probate, things of that nature.
So tons of different things that you handle.
Absolutely, yeah.
How does somebody know when it's time to give you a call?
So because of the unique part of my practice that deals with helping people qualify for Medicaid in nursing homes, I often have people coming to me in a crisis setting.
Sure.
But I would say that over the years, my clients who have fared the best throughout that elder journey have come to see me around retirement or maybe a little bit earlier for a review of their situation, made sure that they've set up with me wills and powers of attorney, review the possibility of doing some pre-planning to protect assets in case nursing home care is needed. So that's kind of the start of the cycle for my clients. And as things progress and a client where we've done that planning winds up in a nursing home, they're often in much better shape as far as asset protection goes compared to somebody who may come see me in a crisis setting and who needs to hire me to go through the Medicaid application process and qualify them for Medicaid and take whatever steps are still allowed to preserve assets at that time.
Okay, so let's take the client who is approaching you early on, and they really want to plan for the future.
Yeah.
What kind of information would they want to bring to that first meeting?
Sure.
And how would you start that process? And really, how early do you start that process?
Well, sure. I would say that my clients who wind up with me long term may come to see me for something as basic as setting up a will. Most people don't consider the need to plan for disability, though. So when somebody comes to see me, ideally they would have thought about the things that they own, who their beneficiaries of their estate would be, the legacy that they hope to leave behind, and some key decision makers to be able to serve in the role of executor of an estate, as a power of attorney agent, and key decision makers to possibly serve as a manager of an asset protection trust. So having those things thought out in advance, then typically when somebody comes to see me, we're going to want to develop a snapshot of the things that they own property, retirement accounts, money in savings, things of that nature, so that we can do an analysis of their situation and make recommendations. But at a minimum, everybody should have documents to deal with both death and disability. I would say that dealing with disability, a potential disability, is the most overlooked thing, and that's where the need for a power of attorney can come in. But getting somebody eligible for Medicaid is time and time again where I see most people coming to me, primarily because in the southern part of the state, I'm not aware of any other attorney who has a dedicated law practice to helping people qualify for Medicaid.
All right, and I think you bring up a great point. If I'm 30, 35, 40 years old, there are things I just don't know to think about yet that are going to happen to me down the road. And with your years of experience, you've seen it. Mm-hmm. You know what can happen. You mentioned disability. So if I come into you, I mean, let's say I come in at 30.
Sure.
And I say, I am hoping to live a long, I think I'm going to live till 80. And I need to prepare for this. Talk to me a little bit about the role. You play this role as attorney. You know the legalities. But you're also a little bit of a psychologist. And you have to face some difficult issues with people. I mean, it's hard to face mortality. It's hard to face the chance of a disability. How do you kind of coach your clients through that and help them make those decisions?
Sure. So if somebody is coming to see me in their 30s, it's an ideal time to do the initial planning.
Okay, and I think that's important. So we're talking even in your 30s. You may just be starting a career, you may just be starting a family, but it really is time to start thinking about this.
Having a will to plan for death, if there are small children who would be potential beneficiaries of an estate, making sure there are trust provisions to hold assets for their benefit in case you should die young and leave young children behind, having, again, the power of attorney documents in place as well. Certainly somebody who comes to see me in their 30s may set up this plan, and then 20 years later, if they have children, those children have grown. If 20 years have gone by, certainly there would have been significant enough life changes that reviewing that estate plan at that time would be appropriate.
All right, we're going to take a quick break, but when we come back, we're going to talk more about how to plan for your future.
Hi, I'm Brent Van Dyson. As an elder law attorney, my law firm can help you protect your assets from the high cost of nursing home care. In your community, we will soon be having free legal seminars where you can come and learn more about the options available to protect your home and your life savings from the high cost of nursing home care. Watch your local newspaper for advertisements of this event, or visit our website at wvelderlaw.com for a list of the upcoming seminars.
Biblical preaching, powerful singing. At Teays Valley Baptist Church, we believe in lifting up the name of Jesus and proclaiming Christ for the valley. We invite you to watch our services each Wednesday at 9 p.m. on Network West Virginia, and hope you will join us during our weekly services where you can find a place to call home. For more information, visit our website at teaysvalleybaptist.com.
Welcome back to this episode of Legally Speaking. I'm Amy Strobel here with Brent Van Dyson from the Van Dyson Law Office. Brent, we've been talking a little bit about clients coming into you and start thinking about their future. And one of those topics we really need to talk about is nursing home care, because they're probably going to tell us a lot of people will need that, and the financial costs can be devastating if you haven't prepared.
Yes. So with nursing home care in our country, is paid for under two governmental programs, Medicare and Medicaid.
Okay.
Medicare will pay for skilled care after a hospitalization for an illness or an injury, provided that the hospitalization lasts through at least 3 midnights.
Okay. A lot of criteria there. Okay. This is why you need an attorney.
And that hospitalization must be for treatment of an injury or illness, not simply observation. So the transfer to a nursing home then, Medicare will pay for up to 100 days.
Okay.
If there's a need for skilled care, the most common skilled care need would be physical therapy, for example, and so can receive physical therapy under Medicare Part B. For the first 20 days covered by Medicare. If you have supplemental insurance, the remaining up to 80 days are covered 80% by Medicare, 20% by your supplemental insurance policy. However, there's not a guarantee of getting a maximum of 100 days. If you're not able to participate, for example, in the rehab, or if the rehab is just simply no longer beneficial, then that service could be discontinued before the 100 days. The idea with Medicare's rehab benefit, skilled care benefit, is essentially after a hospitalization, going into a nursing home, receiving the specialized therapy you need, get your strength up, get your health somewhat restored, just enough so you could go home, and even if you needed additional therapy at home, Medicare can also provide that as well.
Okay, I hear so many things going on there.
Well, wait till we talk about Medicaid, because that's what I'm going to cover now.
Well, we need a whole show for that, I think.
Right. Well,
all right, you want to get into Medicaid?
Yes.
Okay, let's hear what that's like.
Yeah, so to qualify for Medicaid, the Medicaid program is a little bit different. Well, it's a lot different. The Medicaid program, essentially, the federal Medicaid dollars are given to each state, and the states must follow minimum federal guidelines, income eligibility, asset eligibility guidelines. For somebody who meets those guidelines, the Medicaid program will pay for a lifetime of nursing home care.
Okay.
So it from that perspective, it's a great benefit. For many people, though, they're not going to qualify.
And why not?
Well, because to qualify for Medicaid to pay for nursing home care, the nursing home patient's countable assets must be below $2,000.
Okay, and this is why we need you, because we need to figure out how we can qualify for that, correct?
Right. And if you're in a nursing home and Medicare is done paying, the nursing home is going to be charging anywhere from $9,000 a month to, in Kanawha County, a high of $14,000 a month. That's essentially $100,000 to $150,000 per year.
And I'm guessing most people don't have that money.
No, and if they do, they won't have it for very long. Yeah.
Okay, so what do people need to do to protect themselves?
Well, certainly for somebody going into a nursing home who owns a home, has accumulated some savings or other assets, hiring an elder law attorney to go through this process can be very important. But the unique thing about the Medicaid program is the program ignores certain valuable assets while it counts others.
Okay, so with your knowledge, you can help clients break down what assets they can hold on to and what assets they need to, I don't know if the right word is transfer or sell, but that's something you help your clients do.
Right.
And can you give us some examples?
Absolutely. So for example, if you go into a nursing home today in West Virginia, under West Virginia's Medicaid program, you can qualify for Medicaid while owning your primary residence
Okay.
and adjoining land. so long as the value of your residence is $572,000 or less,
Okay.
and so long as you intend to return home if you get better.
Okay.
So in other words, in West Virginia, you could own your home, and if that were the only asset you had, go into a nursing home, immediately qualify for Medicaid. In West Virginia, our state does not make you sell your home, turn it into a pile of money, and then spend that money on care.
And then let me complicate this. What if you have a living spouse who needs to live in that house?
So, so that's actually one of the benefits of the fact that
Okay.
that the Medicaid program doesn't require that your house be sold. For one reason, you might very well recover one day,
Well, you hope.
and you'd need a home to
Yes,
go home to.
absolutely.
Other assets that would be exempt for Medicaid or ignored for Medicaid purposes would be one automobile, and there's no value limitation, household goods and personal belongings, group life insurance that you may have through your employer, which has no cash value,
Okay.
term life insurance, which also has no cash value, burial plot, and a prepaid funeral arrangement. Those are all things that the Medicaid program ignores. So that effectively, if you're able to get well enough and go home one day, you need a home to go home to, you need an automobile
Sure.
to get you there, and you need the possessions in your home to be able to continue to live. Now, everything else is a countable asset. So if there were additional automobiles, they will grant the exemption on the most valuable one used
Okay.
for transportation.
Okay.
Any other automobiles or other motor vehicles represent assets that could be sold, reduced to a pile of money, and spent down. And so when we're talking about countable assets above $2,000, those are assets that if you have them, you're not eligible for Medicaid until you spend down those excess assets. So everything from cash to money in checking and savings,
Yeah.
CDs,
Pensions? Or are those-
retirement accounts like an
Okay.
IRA or a 401k, rental property, life insurance that has cash value like whole life or variable life, stocks, bonds, annuities, CDs. These all represent countable assets that if you have them and you've gone into a nursing home and Medicare is done paying, you're going to be private pay until you have liquidated and spent through those countable assets.
So, life savings
Yes.
right there is in big jeopardy. We're going to take a quick break, but we're going to talk more about this in just a moment. Please stay with us.
Hi, I'm Brent Van Dyson. As an elder law attorney, I bring a unique experience to helping you plan your estate. I can help you establish a will, a trust agreement if necessary, and important documents called powers of attorney to help protect you in the event of a disability. Please call my Charleston office at 304-343-3777 for a consultation, or visit us on the web at wvelderlaw.com.
Hi, this is Father Chapin, host of Daily Living with Father Chapin. Join us every Sunday morning at 9 o'clock, as well as an encore performance every Wednesday night at 9:30, where we take the scriptures, bust it down, try to figure out how it is that we can apply this good news into our daily living. Join us here on this channel, Sunday mornings at 9, encore performance Wednesday night at 9:30. See you there.
Welcome back, everyone. I'm Amy Strobel here with Brent Van Dyson from the Van Dyson Law Office. Elder care law, wow, what a complicated field. especially when we were talking about the spending down process.
Absolutely.
And keep letting us know what we need to do, because this is a little scary.
Well, here's where clients come seek out my assistance. They can hire me and my law firm to help them through the Medicaid eligibility process, including the spend down process.
Okay.
So that's the key. If you go into a nursing home with excess countable assets, the nursing home or the state doesn't take what you have. You're simply going to be a private pay patient.
At what cost again?
$9,000 to $14,000 a month,
Okay.
paying for nursing home care until you have spent through your excess assets. So spending is what has to be done, not giving away. You can't simply give your excess assets away to your kids or your grandkids or your favorite church or charity and then qualify for Medicaid tomorrow.
Okay, what do you do?
Well, see, so there's a 5-year look
Call
back.
you, right?
Well,
Call
yeah,
you.
and I'm going to have some recommendations.
All right.
The reason you can't do that is you get penalized if you do
Okay.
that. So where I can provide great value is in spending those excess countable assets. So if you don't spend assets on something else that's permissible, you'll wind up spending them on nursing home care. So for example, somebody goes into a nursing home, they have $70,000 of cash in a savings
Okay.
account. Some of the things they could spend that money on other than nursing home care could be paying off debts, if any
Okay.
exist. Mortgage, car payment, credit card debts, that sort of thing. Something else they could do would be to spend their savings on non-countable assets. For example, the home is not a countable asset as long as those criteria are met. So what if the home needed some improvements or repairs? Maybe the new roof,
Okay.
floor coverings, heating and air conditioning system, kitchen appliances. Those are all things that you could relatively spend some money on fairly quickly, that if you're in need of them or close to being in need of them, spending money on those things may be more appropriate than just spending it all in a nursing home. You can have one automobile and the value doesn't matter. So here's an opportunity to spend some money on getting a different car. So you can
Okay.
have one automobile, so you're going to be selling your primary vehicle, and in this case, our client has $70,000 to spend. They could spend that money purchasing a new automobile, and remember, there's no dollar limit. And,
So you can get your fancy car you always wanted.
well, you know,
Or is that not what you're saying?
so I mean that's certainly an option, but
Yeah.
with the high cost of vehicles, I mean a Chevy Suburban costs $70,000.
Yeah.
So purchasing a new or used primary vehicle could be an option. Purchasing household furnishings,
Okay.
prepaying funeral expenses. Those are all good options, whether we have somebody in the nursing home situation who may appear to never be able to come home. Spending on these items instead of spending on nursing home care makes sense, because what if after a year there the person slowly improved to the point where they could come home?
I was just going to ask you, now what if I come home?
Right. So wouldn't it be better if you have $70,000 and you're going to have to spend it all anyways, spending it on things that if you get well enough and go home are going to benefit you,
Absolutely.
as
Yes.
opposed to just spending $70,000, 10 months later you're back home, you're broke because you spent $70,000, but you're going home to a home that needs maintenance and
Sure.
repairs, to an older vehicle that's on its last legs. So that's part of the assistance that we give people.
All right, let me ask you, I think I heard you mention briefly that there's a time period in which you need to have spent, they're going to look and say, when did you spend this money? And I think you said it's 5 years.
Okay.
So what can I do before 5 years to protect those assets?
So when it comes to qualifying, what they're looking is not what you've spent assets on, it's have you given anything away within 5 years, okay? Spending is perfectly acceptable. Spending on in-home care, for example, hiring a professional caregiver to come in, spending money to make improvements to your home, your basic living expenses, of course. One important point that I want to mention that I will cover in additional episodes: in West Virginia, you can own a home, go into a nursing home. They don't make you sell the home. But at your death, the state of West Virginia would have the right to put a Medicaid estate recovery lien against your home if you're the last person on the deed and the last occupant living there.
So how do you protect yourself?
So this is the Medicaid recovery lien is responsible for the rumor that many people have heard. If I go into a nursing home, the state will take my home.
Yes.
Yeah. So that's not exactly what happens, but if you've written a will intending to leave your home to your 3 children, you went into a nursing home, you were able to keep your home, and after 2 years of being on Medicaid, you pass away. The state paid $200,000 for your care. You have a home that's going to pass through your will to your 3 children. At your death, in this case, the state has the right to file a lien in the probate process against the home, and now this $200,000 of lien is essentially a forced promise to pay when the house is sold. So the heirs sell the home, and let's say it brings $175,000. Guess who's going to receive all of the funds?
The state.
Yes, and so while the state in this situation doesn't take the home, if the amount of the lien exceeds the value or sales price of the home, then effectively the heirs have gotten nothing. Now, in this same situation, had the lien been for 7 months, let's say $75,000, the house sells for $175,000, the state gets paid back at $75,000. At least then the remaining proceeds would go, but be spent, but be divided between the heirs. However, with nursing home costs being $9,000 to $14,000 a month, it wouldn't take very long for a potential Medicaid lien to exceed the value of the home. The good news is there are many legal options to be able to legally protect that home. Some of them require pre-planning, and the best ones do. Some of them can even be done with last-minute planning, and for those, we'll have to address in another episode.
You could be hosting this show, because I was just going to say we're running out of time, and we are going to have to address those in another show.
Right.
Really quickly, number one mistake people are making.
Yeah, so waiting to the last minute, foreseeing that they may need to go into a nursing home, and then making big gifts of their cash to maybe kids or grandkids.
But within that 5-year period.
Right. Not realizing that there's a penalty for doing that. I mean, there's a lot of misinformation out there. And I've certainly had people come to me and say, well, my neighbor said I'd better give everything away to my kids now because he wound up at a nursing home and was able to come back home. His wife went into one, wasn't able to come back home. And so now you've got the advice of neighbors who are not giving correct advice. And if you're following that advice, you're probably in trouble.
You're making a mistake. Well, you are going to continue to help our viewers not make mistakes. And unfortunately, we're out of time for this episode, but we're going to talk to you more. We're grateful for that. So Brent Van Dyson from Van Dyson Law Office, thank you for your time. We appreciate it. And thank you all for watching this episode of Legally Speaking.
Hi, I'm Brent Van Dyson. As an elder law attorney, I help people protect their assets from the high cost of nursing home care. If you, your spouse, or your parent is in a nursing home today or is about to go into one, please contact my Charleston office for a consultation. You can reach us at 304-343-3777 or on the web at wvelderlaw.com. The Van Dyson Law Office, protecting assets for seniors.